For two suspects who thought speed and recklessness would buy freedom, all it really bought them was a trip to the hospital and a stack of charges. On February 1st, 2024, in Silver Springs, Florida, a Marion County deputy pulled up to what should have been a routine call. A woman had been reported for trying to snatch another driver's car keys, nothing unusual for law enforcement. But as the deputy stepped out, the situation flipped on its head. The very woman under suspicion suddenly lunged into his patrol car and sped off, leaving the deputy stunned and empty-handed. The wild chase that followed was nothing short of chaos.
Okay, don't dance, you just got my car too hot.
By the time the dust settled, the driver of the stolen cruiser and two innocent victims were pronounced dead, while another survivor clung to life in critical condition. What started as a brazen theft spiraled into one of the worst outcomes possible. It is the kind of story that reminds everyone one reckless act can carry a price no one should have to pay. On June 29, 2023, deputies in Charles County, Maryland were dispatched to a parking lot on Acton Lane in Waldorf. Witnesses reported a man attacking a woman in what appeared to be a carjacking attempt. What began as violence in a quiet corner of town quickly spilled onto the roadway, sparking a pursuit that would push both the suspect and deputies to their absolute limits. The fleeing vehicle veered into opposing lanes and slammed into a tractor trailer with devastating impact. The suspect was killed instantly, his desperate gamble ending in wreckage and smoke. For deputies, the scene stood as a harsh reminder that crime does not stay contained. It can leap from a single parking lot to the open highway, leaving nothing but devastation in its path. On December 24th, 2024, Interstate 40 carried the usual stream of holiday travelers. Some drivers hummed along to Christmas songs, others kept their eyes on the fading daylight. But one SUV refused to blend in. A 2006 Honda Pilot tearing down the interstate at 98 miles per hour. When an Arkansas State Police trooper pulled it over, the driver wasn't just speeding, he was carrying secrets he couldn't outrun.
TVI. Then 10-16, roll over.
What unfolded afterward left no second chances. Investigators recovered a revolver fully loaded alongside cocaine hidden in the vehicle, multiple cell phones, a handheld radio, and a set of directions to Oklahoma City suggested a man who lived in motion, always one step away from capture. Yet his choices caught up to him on Christmas Eve. The combination of speed, pride, and recklessness turned the highway into his final destination. It was the evening of December 20th, 2024, when Trooper Chase Landry noticed a Chrysler 300 cutting in close on Interstate 40. The car nearly clipped another vehicle before sliding onto the highway, the kind of move that earns a quick flash of lights and maybe a stern talking to. The driver, however, had other plans. That man, identified as Mountain Curry, decided the dumbest move he could make was the one he went with. He ran.
Stay westbound, Secondary on call. Now westbound. Speed to 90. Returning to the Northern Austin.
Once cornered and cuffed, the night's bigger secret spilled out. Troopers uncovered pounds of marijuana, dozens of boxes of psychedelic mushrooms, bottles of promethazine, and nearly 50 ecstasy pills. The arrest left Curry staring down a staggering list of charges. One thing's for sure, he traded a ticket for a cell, and it is safe to say that gamble was not worth it. On a warm afternoon in July 2022, what started as a simple traffic violation spiraled into a tragedy that no one could walk away from unchanged. A 19-year-old man from Kentucky, later identified as John Bomar, drew the attention of Arkansas State Police in Forest City. Reports described him as driving recklessly, endangering lives with every reckless push of the accelerator. What followed would test the limits of both courage and consequence on the open road.
Start 10-16, start 10-16.
The aftermath was nothing short of heartbreaking. Bomar was ejected from the vehicle, and officers rushed to perform life-saving measures on the roadside before he was taken to a nearby hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Prosecutors were left to weigh the legality of the intervention, but the human cost was already carved into memory. It was a tragedy that underscored how a single decision behind the wheel can seal a fate in an instant. It started on April 24th, 2024, as an almost routine piece of business for Homeland Security in Portland, Oregon. Agents served a search warrant on a registered sex offender suspected of trading in vile images of children. He wasn't cuffed, wasn't shackled, and sat in the passenger seat of an unmarked SUV like a man with no way out. But the moment he heard about the hidden phone agents had uncovered, he turned a minor moment of compliance into the dumbest gamble of his life. Despite the crash, Travis survived and was immediately taken into custody. He left the scene not in a Homeland Security vehicle, but in the back of a patrol car facing an outstanding warrant and serious federal charges. All told, his split-second choice to grab the wheel ensured he drove himself straight into a far worse future. On January 24th, 2024, a winter night in Arkansas seemed quiet with traffic flowing steady on Interstate 40. But that calm didn't last. Dispatch crackled with word that Roland police were chasing a blue 2021 Nissan Kicks across the Oklahoma line, and Arkansas State Police were called in to help. What began as routine coordination between agencies would soon unravel into a pursuit that tested the nerves of everyone involved.
About 115. After 13, before 15. Okay, that is not a dating. You guys found a boarding facility to try and get him out here. You have to take out the 13, is that right? That's what he did.
When the dust settled, Eric Boyce and Morris Turner were staring down more than flashing lights. Officers found vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana stacked in the trunk, enough to upgrade their night from reckless driving to felony drug trafficking. Boyce declined medical help. Turner complained of a shoulder injury, but both ended up in custody. All for a desperate run that collapsed in the blink of an eye. On April 17, 2022, troopers in Dade City were already dealing with tragedy. A 49-year-old woman had been killed in a hit and run, and investigators were combing US 301 for clues when chaos arrived at their feet. A silver Chevy pickup came barreling straight at them, ignoring every command to stop. Within moments, Florida Highway Patrol troopers went from working a crime scene to launching headfirst into a chase they could not afford to lose. The driver was identified as Andrew Crewman, and his reckless night ended with an arrest. His charges stacked up: fast DUI, fleeing and eluding destruction of evidence, aggravated assault with a vehicle, and more.
God damn it, dude.
Proof that even in the middle of tragedy, danger can arrive out of nowhere, and it is their job to meet it head on. On May 1st, 2022, what started as another Arkansas afternoon quickly turned into something else entirely. The driver made the choice to flee, forcing Arkansas State Police Trooper Justin Harper into pursuit. Roads that normally saw Sunday traffic and small-town calm suddenly became a battleground of flashing lights and desperate decisions. By the time the chase pushed toward the heart of town, the pressure was already boiling over. Emergency crews swarmed the crash site, working to pull the injured drivers to safety. The suspect's reckless bid for escape ended in fractured bones, destroyed cars, and felony charges waiting at the hospital. It is a reminder that outrunning the law is one thing, but outrunning the laws of physics is impossible. This pursuit may be over, but the road ahead is full of more close calls and reckless choices. Head over to the next video and see what unfolds when the chase continues. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss the action. From a midnight escape that ended in tragedy and a reckless luxury ride that turned a birthday trip into a crime scene, to a brazen driver who thought raw speed could outrun the law, and much more. Here are the craziest moments when high-speed police chases end in disaster. On December 19th, 2023, what began as an ordinary morning in West Memphis quickly turned into something else entirely. A man behind the wheel, later identified as 43-year-old Mario Page, had more than a few reasons to avoid blue lights in his rearview mirror. Wanted on multiple felony warrants, he chose the fast lane instead of facing justice. By the time Arkansas State Police and a local drug task force closed in, the scene was already set for disaster.
PS2, check your left eye. PS2, check your left eye.
When the trooper lined up for a calculated intervention, Page made his boldest move yet. stomped on his brakes, and that dumb decision proved to be a total disaster.
Mitch, take a look out.
The pursuit came to a violent end and Page paid the ultimate price. His car crashed down the embankment, sealing his fate. Authorities later underscored how reckless he had been, with Colonel Mike Hagar stressing that while the loss of life is always regrettable, the real relief was knowing that no officers or innocent drivers were harmed. In the end, Page's run proves one cold truth: no one outruns accountability forever. On July the 12th, 2023, Interstate 40 in Arkansas became the stage for something far more chaotic than the usual evening traffic. A St. Francis County deputy had already locked onto two gray Teslas pushing way past the limit, and that call rippled quickly through law enforcement radios. As traffic thickened, an Arkansas state police trooper tried to prepare a spike strip, only to realize the sheer speed of what was coming made that plan impossible. The chase was already writing its own rules, and the road ahead was about to prove it.
I got it. He hit 24's car. I rammed him.
The driver behind the wheel was later identified as Williams and his passenger as Taylor. Once the dust settled, officers recovered marijuana and digital scales, making it clear this trip was about more than just reckless driving. Williams racked up charges ranging from possession and reckless driving to aggravated assault and fleeing, while Taylor faced misdemeanor possession and paraphernalia charges. Turns out their flashy Tesla wasn't even theirs. Williams admitted he borrowed it through a cousin's Turo rental because he wasn't old enough to rent it himself. A high-speed joyride to Dallas for a birthday sounds fun in theory, but this one ended with a criminal record instead of candles. It was April 25th, 2024, when the quiet stretch of State Road 52 lit up with trouble. A white Nissan Altima blasted through the lanes, tearing past at more than twice the posted limit. The trooper watching traffic that day had seen plenty of speeders, but this one was something else entirely. By the time the patrol car pulled out, the race between good judgment and reckless defiance was already on.
Hello. Oh yeah, surely. There you go.
When the driver tried to twist free of the net closing in, another trooper was waiting with a decisive move. In that instant, all the weaving and dodging came face to face with a reality check the suspect could not outrun. driver, later identified as DeMarco Lee Earls Jr., tried one last act of defiance fighting
Look,
officers, even as
and
they
then you are
pulled the
surprised.
threats, kicks, even an attempt to bite it all ended the same way in cuffs. The discovery of cocaine and fentanyl in his car sealed the final chapter. Already on probation for burglary, Earls is now facing a mountain of charges and no bond. Running at 115 miles per hour may have felt bold in the moment, but it only guaranteed his road to prison just got a whole lot shorter. It was a Wednesday in the Eco area of Grant County when things took an unexpected turn. What started as a routine traffic stop suddenly escalated into something far more dangerous. The driver, later identified as 31-year-old Carlos Smith, refused to stay put. In an instant, the calm roadside encounter transformed into the beginning of a high-stakes pursuit. Multiple police and city vehicles showed the scars of the pursuit. No officers or citizens were hurt, but Carlos Smith walked away with more than just a wrecked night. Wanted in several states already, he now faces a fresh pile of charges in Arkansas. One reckless choice turned into a very costly mistake. It was just after 4:40 in the afternoon on March 4th, 2024, when Trooper Shira thought he was about to conduct a routine stop. A white Dodge Charger dark windows cruising up Interstate 75. But the second those red and blue lights lit up, the driver made a choice that would turn a quiet stretch of pavement into a full-blown racetrack. In a heartbeat, the chase was on.
Een starry boy. Meneertje starry boy. Meneertje. Meneertje zei je. Meneertje starry boy. Starry boy. Meneertje starry boy. Meneer starry boy.
At 120 miles per hour, the gamble pushed beyond reckless. The driver tried to outwit a trooper riding alongside, and what came next would prove just how unforgiving high-speed risks can be.
Dat is een fijn, ja.
Anyhow, come on, how much? there's a woman, I don't know, Brazilian woman, no idea, who wants to meet PH2. What's up?
Hello.
By the time it was over,
Kizil, are you gonna take the picture?
troopers
Yeah, I'm
found
gonna,
drugs on the
hold on,
desk
let me get a
and
picture,
even
let me
more
get a
tucked
box.
inside
Yeah,
the
let's
charger
go.
from a loaded firearm. Cody's charges piled high, aggravated fleeing,
I have
damage,
already
aggravated
took a
battery with a
picture
deadly
too,
weapon,
but you know.
reckless driving
Okay,
causing
okay, okay.
property damage.
No problem.
For all the speed he tried to use to get away, in the end, Cody couldn't outrun the law or his own bad decisions. On a cool October day in 2022, the streets of Arkansas carried an unusual tension. A Dodge Challenger with expired tags seemed harmless enough to most, but not to the officers watching closely. With the FBI partnering alongside Arkansas State Police, the suspicion around this car was far more than what a simple tag violation would suggest. The driver had no idea that the weight of two agencies was about to fall squarely on his shoulders.
Jawel, starry boy. Meneertje Star. Meneertje Starry boy. Meneer Mondje. Bent jij meneer Mondje? De kleine vriend. Ja, jullie zijn mijn tweede vriendje, ja.
The driver's
Ja.
backgamble ended with cuffs.
You sell me one med kit?
Possible charges stacked up quickly. Felony.
I can give you one medkit, but I cannot sell, okay?
Like, what about like the
The
item that
FBI
like I
looking
can put
over
in
the
my
case,
inventory?
federal charges weren't off the table either. In the end, that flashy Challenger didn't just lose the chase, it lost its driver
Damn.
to a jail cell.
Yeah. I am trying to give you 3
Oh
medkits.
good, oh good. Try one, just one.
Okay, alrighty.
It was November 22nd, 2023, when what started as a call about shoplifters at a Kohl's in Yulee, Florida, spiraled into something far more sinister.
Appreciate you,
Deputies
you're so
expected to deal
goated.
with stolen merchandise, maybe a clip of red from the parking lot.
No worries.
But the suspects behind the wheel of a Nissan sedan had other plans that would test
Alrighty.
patience and survival instincts.
Yeah,
With
we have new
flashes
uniforms, yeah.
one officer soon realized he wasn't just chasing thieves, he was staring down something much more dangerous.
Right, shots will be provided at 57. Hold on. Oh, okay.
The fallout was devastating. Sierra Desiree Fawcett, just driving her own route that evening, ended up in a hospital bed with serious injuries. Inside the suspect vehicle, deputies uncovered stolen merchandise, nearly $2,000, and narcotics tucked away like an afterthought. The 4 suspects were all arrested their night ending, not in escape, but in flashing lights and hospital gurneys. A stark reminder that running from the law rarely gets you anywhere but deeper in trouble.
Roll over, give me a 10-6.
On the night of April 1st, 2024, a routine traffic stop in Crittenden County took a turn no trooper wanted to see. What started as a white Ford Fusion cruising along Interstate 40 quickly became something much darker. The driver, later identified as 28-year-old Courtney Ridgway of Smyrna, Tennessee, made one split-second decision that changed everything. Instead of easing over, she pushed the pedal and set the stage for a pursuit that would spiral far beyond control.
At some point it does. Yeah, if you're going so low, it's going to turn the gravel pretty quick. Should I just go with Bud Light Grove?
Roll over, give me a 10-6.
What happened next became a grim reminder of why these pursuits are so dangerous. Ridgway's life ended in that field marked at 10:42 p.m. by the county coroner, Martin and Cockrell. Her passengers walked away with non-life-threatening injuries, though the memory of that night will follow them forever. Arkansas State Police reminded the public afterward that blue lights are not a suggestion, they're a lifeline. Ignore them and the consequences can be unforgiving. It was the early morning hours of September 14th, 2024, when the quiet streets of Florida were anything but calm. A simple traffic stop quickly spiraled into something far more dangerous, and what started as a routine license plate check soon had troopers bracing for the unknown. One driver seated behind the wheel of a white Nissan Sentra made a decision that would set the night ablaze with flashing lights and reckless speed. What happened next would leave even veteran officers shaking their heads.
Ayan mo. Start the boy mo. Yeah?
Starry boy.
Mundje op mo. Yeah.
Think, yeah. Come on, schatje. Moet je shots gaan geven. Very soon.
Yeah. Everybody.
By the time the run came to a close, the driver was identified as 59-year-old Lisa Joanne Hoffacker. Her speech was slurred, her eyes were bloodshot, and her defiance continued as she refused every test offered. She wound up with a trip to the hospital for medical clearance.
There you go.
Charges that stacked up quickly.
I'm doing good.
To elude driving
Good to
under the
know.
influence with property damage, reckless could outrun the law, all she managed to do was outrun her own common sense.
Why is your dog transparent?
Oh, I know.
December 3rd, 2022, the Florida night sky was calm. But
Your
the
dog
roads
is
were about
transparent.
to erupt with flashing blue
Yeah,
lights.
that's maybe some
What should have been a simple stop
black magic
became
at your
something else
side.
entirely when one driver
Could be.
decided the rules no
Yeah.
longer applied. With the press of a pedal, the chase was on, and every second added fuel to a situation spiraling out of control. Troopers knew this wasn't going to be a patient game. It was going to be fast and dangerous.
There you go. And there you go.
As the minutes ticked by, Bird lined up for the
And some bad job as well.
hesitation from decisiveness. The suspect could swerve, accelerate, or pray, but Bird had already committed.
Is there anyone that has need their shots? For the rest, they can still come. I'm gonna leave at 59. So
When the chase slammed to its conclusion, it wasn't the suspect in control anymore. The wall stopped what speed and stubbornness would not. Bird's precision closed the chapter, quickly proving once again why his reputation as a legend in pursuits isn't just a title, it's a fact. This driver running ended exactly the way it started, as a bad choice.
okay. I will stay in here until 59. Okay. Okay. Shots will be provided. There you go.
Fast.
There you go.
Come on.
There you go.
Hey, don't mind that guy, he's a prick, okay?
There you go.
Thank you, EMS.
There you go.
Thank you.
Good luck, sir. And it's time to leave again. Okay. I don't know what is. Yeah. There is some lag on the server. On the city. There is.
By the time the dust settled, the stolen vehicle was mangled in a field, and its driver was face down in handcuffs. The charges practically wrote themselves, fleeing reckless driving possession of a stolen vehicle, and more. Trooper Donnie Cheers and his fellow officers made sure this one didn't stretch any longer than it had to. It's a lesson that always rings true. The run might feel thrilling, but it never ends the way the driver hopes. It was the night of February
Shit.
1955 when two men suspected of pulling off
Shit.
an armed robbery in Kentucky found themselves crossing into Indiana. They weren't
Okay.
just carrying suspicion on their shoulders, they were behind the wheel of a stolen Ford F-150. Law enforcement already had their eyes peeled, waiting for the slightest glimpse. When pickup finally rolled into view, the calm of a small town parking lot shattered.
God. So laggy. Come on. Stop it being laggy.